Good evening, I am Ansman Esonyasi, and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. Gambian pilgrims left Mina on Thursday evening and gathered at Arafat, which is the most important day of the entire pilgrimage. At the launch of a water project in Farabasutu, sponsored by the government of Japan, news came through that the country's former prime minister had died after being shot at a campaign rally. We have a report on the launch of that project in Farabasutu, which is supported by the Japanese government through the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA. And as the Gambia gets ready to observe one of Islam's biggest festivals, Eid al-Adha, locally called Tobaski, on Saturday, many are embarking on journeys across the country to spend the festive event with families. In international news, we look back on the political life of Shinzo Abe, the former Japanese prime minister who was shot and killed by a gunman earlier today. Stay tuned as we bring you more on these stories. And now here's the news in focus. Gambian pilgrims left Mina on Thursday evening and gathered at Arafat, which is the most important day of the entire pilgrimage. Our reporter Babukar Sise is with them in Arafat, and he filed this report.
The most important day of Hajj falls on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, the second day of Hajj. Gambian pilgrims made their way to the plains and mountains of Arafat, where they will devote all their time in performing prayers and seek forgiveness from Almighty Allah. They will listen to sermons from imams and scholars near the Jabal Rahman, the mountain of mercy. This Hajj ritual is called standing before the Lord, and it lasts from noon to sunset. Imam Basirulli, a Hajj guide for Tiwawan Travel and Tours, explains.
Here we all the Gambian pilgrims pray Salatul Fajr, and we started our du'as. After that, we are going to proceed to Muzdalifah, where we are going to complete the rest of the night. And then where we are going to also take our stones, there we are going to pick them. We proceed straight away to a Jamra.
Aja Aduletsi, the managing director of Tiwawan Travel and Tours, speaks about the importance of the day.
The importance of this day is when the Prophet Muhammad said, Al-Hajjud Arafat. Anybody who doesn't come to Arafat he's not part of the Hajj. The Hajj, as you know, whether it's a month or a week or 2 weeks or 2 months, it is this day that is the day of the Hajj, inshallah. We have converged on this important plain, this important mountain of Rahmah, where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave his last sermon. Allah gets annoyed with any pilgrim that is doubting whether his or her prayers is answered or not. Inshallah, Allah answers all the prayers of all the pilgrims.
Dr. Demba Sabali, the Minister of Agriculture, who is performing Hajj for the first time, thanked Allah for witnessing this important day.
We are here in Arafat. Yesterday we were in Mina. I just want to express how glad we are that the Gambian community here, the Gambian pilgrims, we are well taken care of. We are very, very grateful for the arrangements here. The lodging is okay, we are well fed, and every pilgrim here is safe. So we thank QTV for the coverage that the message gets to our families and to our countrymen that every Gambian here is fine.
Also known as the Mountain of Mercy or Jabal Rahman, pilgrims spend the whole day on the mountain to supplicate to Allah to forgive their sins.
The 9th of Dhul Hijjah, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam came to this place with his companions. They spent the whole day on the tents, worshipping Allah, praying, doing every good. We extend our greetings to all Gambians. Thank you, QTV. Thank you, the team that came to Hajj to cover this event.
Pilgrims will leave Arafat tonight and camp at Muzdalifah, where they will pick up pebbles or stones for the symbolic stoning of the devil at Jamarat in Minna on the day of Idul Adha or Tobaski. Babukar Sise, QTV News, Jabal Rahman, Arafat.
Well, we pray that all prayers are answered. Now, at the launch of a water project in Farabasutu sponsored by the government of Japan, news came through that the country's former prime minister had died after being shot at a campaign rally. Here's a brief excerpt from Japan's ambassador to the Gambia and some of the guests at the launch.
This morning, the people of Japan was took by surprise by the bad news, very trist news, the assassination of our former prime minister. It's a real tragedy. It's a real tragedy, and this is very sad. But I can promise that Japanese people, Japan, can overcome this hardship. We support your Gambian people.
And on behalf of the people of the Gambia, through the ambassador, we express our heartfelt condolences to the people of Japan on the assassination of the former Prime Minister this morning.
On behalf of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, the entire Gambian people, and on my own behalf, I want to express heartfelt condolences to the government and the people of Japan on the sudden death of your former Prime Minister Abe, who was brutally killed.
Well, our prayers and thoughts are with his family and the people and government of Japan during these difficult moments. Now here's the report on the rural water project supported by the Japanese government through the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, which was launched in Farabasutu village, West Coast region on Friday. Our reporter Mahmoud Gajaga was at the inauguration ceremony and he now reports.
Scenes of joy for the people of Farabasutu village as the rural water project supported by the Japanese government was launched. This is the fourth phase of the project, which will be rolled out in 62 rural communities. Morishita Hiromichi, Chief Representative of JICA, talks about the project.
JICA has worked to improve livelihood of rural populations and to enhance capabilities of human resources that contribute towards the development of the Gambia. In accordance with the National Development Plan of the Gambia and Japan's country assistance policy for the Republic of the Gambia, JICA intends to expand its cooperation through supporting sustainable development of rural community.
The Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, has implemented several rural water projects in the Gambia since 1992 as part of the Japanese government's support to communities to get safe drinking water. Japan's ambassador to the Gambia, Osamu Izawa, says this and other rural water projects will benefit a lot of people.
I have the pleasure to attend on behalf of the people and the government of Japan this ceremony dedicated to the launching of the project for rural water supply phase 4. This project, funded by the Japanese government within the framework of the grassroots citizens, consists in constructing 20 water supply systems to provide safety and quality drinking water to 62 rural communities. And on the estimate, more than 50,000 people, particularly women and children, could benefit from this project.
The Minister of Fisheries and Water Resources, Musa Drame, acknowledged the support given to the Gambia by Japan, with water being one of the most significant intervention areas.
Historically, the Japanese government has been assisting the Gambia government in providing safe drinking water to rural communities since 1992. To date, the phases of water supply project have been accomplished.
The Alcala of Farabasutu village, Aliu Sanyang, says the water project will help his village to access clean drinking water. He also described how challenging it was, especially for women who trek up to 300 meters to fetch water from the 2 hand pumps in the community.
Nyum projeto ay kumaya mi tandin to lañu sade kono janta emphasize nola bari ndolla janniaji be ole local pump fla damal be sade kono mi yalon ko mol musodol bije ka they work almost 200 to 300 meters pour kana to have access to that water. And that water can mean access along hand pumpoti.
Farabasutu village has an estimated population of 3,000 people. The water project is expected to provide safe drinking water to the community, improve health by reducing waterborne diseases. The launching of the water project was overshadowed by the news of the death of former Japan Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who was assassinated earlier in the day. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Now, as the Gambia gets ready to observe one of Islam's biggest festivals, Eid al-Adha, locally called Tobaski, on Saturday, many are embarking on journeys across the country to spend the festive event with families. The last day before Tobaski sees a lot of drama at the Banjul Bara ferry crossing points, as hundreds scrambled for a last-minute dash to get on the ferries. Mohamed Laminchoy reports.
A rush on the eve of Eid al-Adha as public demand for the ferry services rises. This is one of, if not the busiest occasions when the Gambia Ferry Services Company registers its highest passenger numbers, with many crossing to other parts of the country to spend the Tobaski with families and loved ones. It is a dramatic moment when the provinces are the most popular travel destinations for many, verifying the family origins of many urban residents. Lamin Jawara is the General Manager of the Gambia Ferry Services.
Usually this time of the year, many of the passengers are local passengers. Destinations are usually, the Nyomis, Badibus, North Bank, CRR, and all the way to, the upper river part of the Gambia. But we also have some of the international travelers, especially our neighbors from Senegal. As you know, many of our Senegalese are also resident in Gambia. And during this period, they will travel to Senegal to go and attend this Tobaski in their homeland.
Aisha Gay is one of those traveling to the provinces for the Tobaski. She is from Koto, and her destination is Panchang in the Central River region, approximately 159 kilometers from Banjul. Aisha tells us about her experience in the journey to Panchang.
It is not easy at all. The roads are tight and it's difficult to travel. There is no money and the fares are expensive. That is what I see, but thank God.
Not all are crossing for the Tobaski, as there are others on different missions too. Omar Jack from Sanyang is on a journey to Kirjarga in the North Bank region.
I am going to propose marriage, but I will be returning to Sanyang today. I am praying to God to answer to all our prayers. I am praying that the ferry reaches its destination safely.
With many people traveling to cross for the Eid, responding to the high travel demand is a challenge. The Gambia Ferry Services Company is implementing an operational strategy.
Some of the strategies we deploy are allowing passengers only to cross until the volume of passengers have reduced to a level that is manageable, and then we allow small vehicles to start crossing. Then thereafter we allow the trucks to cross as well. So this is usually the operational strategy we use. And in addition, during normal operations, we operate 2 ferries and 1 ferry on standby. But during this period, we operate all the 3 ferries.
Eid al-Adha is an important date in the Islamic calendar, which Muslims across the country celebrate in a calm, peaceful, and generous manner. The feast is scheduled by the Supreme Islamic Council for Saturday, but parts of the country may observe the feast on the following day. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
And a report there by Mohamed Lamin Choi leads us to the commercial break, but the news continues when we return.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network. Save up to 50% energy with the new side-by-side Samsung refrigerator. Samsung air conditioners come with HD filter and antibacterial for your protection. Save time, energy, and effort by using our washing machines, loaded with innovative features that offer superior cleaning technology. Step into the future of television with our slick and slim Samsung Smart TV designs. Sizes range from 32 to 85 inches. Smart LED, Crystal UHD Ultra High Definition, and QLED Quantum Dark LED. Get new ways of interacting with your TV. Unparalleled vision, right from the comfort of your living room. Our products are backed with 1-year warranty. Visit us at QCell Building at Caraba Avenue or at Boost Turntable. Contact us on 333-321-7 or email us at info@quantumnet.gm.
Welcome back from that commercial break. Reminded you're following QTV News and we're broadcasting live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. Now, as Muslims in the Gambia prepare to celebrate the feast of Eid al-Adha, locally called Tobaski, QTV's Aliou Cisse visited the Gambia Transport Service Company, GTSC, bus station in Kanifing on Friday to assess how the company is dealing with the expected huge volume of travelers.
Here at the GTSC bus station in Kanifing, we found people anxiously waiting to join one of the many buses arranged by the bus company to provide convenient and safe travel for the many people going to various destinations across the country to celebrate the Muslim feast of Eid al-Adha, locally known as Tobaski, with family and loved ones. Ibrahim Akoli, operations manager at GTSC, explained that they were doing their best to ensure everyone is transported without any hitches. He gave assurances that the safety of their passengers is a priority. He sounded hopeful that they will transport everyone, as most of those traveling had left before our arrival.
Now we have already released or deployed 18 services, and we're left with some 4 services to follow, which means by then everything will be clear. And the population today is much higher than yesterday. So we are indeed on the right pace for today. Influential in trying to manage that traffic flow. And besides that, we make sure that before any bus is released, the drivers do what we call pre-departure checks to make sure they check the engine oil, the tires, everything else to make sure that the vehicle is fit to move. And then those are the assurances that we have as at now. And for the luggage, we have tarpaulins to cover up all those against the rain. So those are mainly our safety measures.
Some of the passengers on this bus traveling to Jarasoma are happy to be joining their families. Nonetheless, they express dissatisfaction with what they said is the increase in transport fares from $110 to $240. They also complain of the delay in departure of the bus and the conditions in the bus. However, one of the bus company officials we spoke to responded regarding the fares, saying passengers are charged the fares for an express service to Jarasoma and not the normal service fare which they were briefed on. From what we could see, the majority of the passengers appeared happy and excited to be embarking on their journey. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Now, at its 61st Ordinary Summit on 3rd July 2022 in Accra, Ghana, the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of States and Government approved the appointment of Dr. Omar Alieu Toure of the Gambia as President of the ECOWAS Commission for a 4-year term from 11 July 2022. As Aliou Cisse reports, the summit also reassessed the political situations in Mali, Burkina Faso and Guinea.
Dr. Omar Toure, a seasoned Gambian diplomat, succeeds Cote d'Ivoire's Jean-Claude Cassibro, whose 4-year term ended on 30th June 2022. The Gambia, which was allocated the position of the President of the Commission, had proposed the candidature of Toure. Toure takes over an ECOWAS Commission facing numerous challenges relating to insecurity and political instability. Difficult and challenging as it is, the sub-region will closely watch the changes that Toure will bring to the sub-region. But what is certain is that the man will achieve little without the support of member states. In his manifesto for the ECOWAS job, Toure promised to prioritize early warning mechanisms and preventive diplomacy to address risks before conflicts break out. He also believed ECOWAS rapid response capability must be strengthened with a regional standby force. The summit also elected Umar Sissoco Embalo, President of Guinea-Bissau, as chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government for a one-year term, replacing Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo. Earlier this year, Embalo survived a failed coup attempt. On peace, security, and democracy, the authority reaffirms its commitment to the promotion of peace, security, and stability in the region as prerequisites for the economic integration and development of the region. On Mali, the authority lifted sanctions on the closure of the land and air borders between ECOWAS member states and Mali, and lifted the suspension of all commercial and financial transactions between ECOWAS member states and Mali. Nonetheless, the authority maintains the suspension of Mali from the ECOWAS decision-making bodies and the individual sanctions against individuals and groups. The summit reaffirms that in line with the African Union Charter, the commitment made to ECOWAS by the transition authorities, and with the transition charter, no member of the transition authority can be a candidate in the election organized for return to constitutional order. On Burkina Faso, the authority acknowledges the progress made by the mediator in his engagements with the stakeholders during his initial mission to Burkina Faso. The authority welcomes the proposal by the transition authorities for the establishment of a joint monitoring and evaluation mechanism with ECOWAS to accompany the transition process. It welcomed the release of President Roch Kabore and takes note of the new proposed timetable set at 24 months from 1st July 2022. In view of this, the authority decided to lift the economic and financial sanctions adopted on 25th March 2022. However, it upheld the suspension of the country from all ECOWAS decision-making bodies. On Guinea, the authority restated its position on the unacceptability of the 36-month transition timetable announced by the Guinean authorities. The authority endorsed Yaya Boni, former president of Benin, as the new ECOWAS mediator to Guinea, replacing Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers. The mediator has been requested to work with the transition authorities to arrive at an acceptable transition timetable for the transition latest by 1st August 2022. After this deadline, economic and financial sanctions will be enforced as well as targeted sanctions. The authority decided to uphold the suspension of Guinea from all ECOWAS decision-making bodies. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
And now for news beyond our borders. Now, as mentioned earlier, Shinzo Abe, Japan's former prime minister, died on Friday after being shot while delivering a speech at a political campaign in western Japan. Jeremy Sonko chronicles the life of the former leader.
67 was Japan's longest-serving prime minister, resigned his position in 2020 due to a chronic health condition that he had battled for years. Despite stepping down, Abe remained a dominant presence in the ruling Liberal Democratic Party. Abe was delivering a campaign speech ahead of elections in Nara, western Japan, when he was shot from behind. Initial reports said he was shot in the back. However, reports from the hospital said he had been shot in the neck. He was treated at the scene before being rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. This is the first assassination of a sitting or former Japanese prime minister since the days of pre-war militarism in the 1930s. In speech, Japan's current Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said Abe had led the country with great leadership and he was lost for words. I have great respect for the legacy Abe left behind and I pay the deepest condolences to him. Other Japanese politicians expressed shock at the violence in a country in which political violence is rare and guns are tightly controlled. Tributes have poured in from all over the world. According to a finding, Japan has close to zero tolerance of gun ownership, an approach that experts say contributes to its extremely low rate of gun crime. There were 3 reported gun deaths in 2019, according to the National Police Agency, and the number rarely exceeds 10 in a country of 126 million people. By comparison, the USA had 37,800 gun deaths in that year, which illustrates the shock caused by the shooting. Police said a 41-year-old man suspected of carrying out the shooting had been arrested at the scene. The suspect, identified as Tetsuya Yamagami, is reported to have told the police he was dissatisfied with Abe and wanted to kill him. While in office, Abe failed to realize his main political ambition to revise Japan's pacifist constitution, which prohibits the country from using force to resolve international disputes. In recent weeks, he had voiced support for significant rises in Japan's defense budget, citing Russia's invasion of Ukraine as proof that Japan should stay vigilant in case of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Even before his burial, Abe's killing is being described as one that will change Japan forever. He was instrumental in winning the 2022 Olympics for Tokyo. Abe was born into a political family. His father was foreign minister, his great-uncle was prime minister, as was his grandfather. His policies to revive Japan's economy came to be described as Abenomics. He was undoubtedly the most well-known and respected of Japan's prime ministers. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Bosongo.
And I'm afraid that is all about it for this bulletin. But before we take a leave of you, we wish you all happy Tobaski and pray that we live to celebrate many more to come in good health. Until then, thanks for watching.